Europe is trying to catch up, and that's a great thing. Their European regulations on AI were just as bad as California's regulations on AI. They're limiting our ability to do innovations in AI, and also the challenge around power is the big issue. So opening up the investments, over $100 billion of investments, is really smart at the Paris AI Action Conference. But more importantly, what they're going to have to do is they're going to have energy. In this battle, you need chips, data, and energy. China has lots of cheap energy, lots of data, but needs chips. In the US, we have lots of chips, lots of data, but our energy is still expensive. Europe is more expensive, double the cost of the US. So if they don't build the capacity, light up their nuclear power plants, get hydro, geo, and everything they can, Europe won't be able to compete at that scale. So energy is still going to be a big issue here.
It's a fair point. Right. Well, let's also shift focus over to what's happening here in the Middle East. We know Sam Altman has been hitting the tracks here in Abu Dhabi. Of course, he has a number of partnerships on the ground here. MGX, a bottler company, is a case in point, a significant investor in OpenAI. What type of conversations do you think Altman is having on the ground here about Elon Musk's bid to try and take control of OpenAI? And what's your view on how this is going to develop into the future as well? Do you actually expect Musk to be able to take control of what is arguably the most important artificial intelligence application globally today?
This is a decades-long fight. The original intent of OpenAI was to create open source AI for good, to democratize AI, to provide the guardrails that society needed for it. And I think what Elon is very upset at Sam Altman for changing that narrative. It's why a lot of the founders left and started Anthropic. But it's also me about also derailing Stargate, which Elon was not a part of. And when we think about this, a $97.4 billion bid for OpenAI is quite an undercutted valuation. The last valuation for OpenAI was about 260 to 280 billion. So the nonprofit, by California state law, has to receive a fair market value. And so I think this is going to be an interesting battle to see, will the nonprofit get the value it's deserved, and will this derail some of the stuff that Sam Altman's trying to do in terms of Stargate? But in the Middle East, what's actually happening is you're seeing a lot of excitement and advancement. I mean, if you look at the Middle East, and especially in the Dubai region, this is the center of crypto activity. This is the center of having compute power being used for not just crypto, which will also be able to be used for AI. And we're starting to see those advantages. I just came back from LEAP in Saudi Arabia, and the same thing happened. You could see the energy buzzing about where AI was headed, where crypto was headed, and more importantly, it's not an energy-poor area. This is an energy-rich area where getting compute power is not going to be an issue, especially with the energy piece. So it was exciting being out there, and I think the Dubai, the Saudi region, KSA is going to be a hot area to come, at least for the next decade.
Just on that point, we've also seen Saudi Arabia making this very significant investment in Grok as well, to the tune of about $1.5 billion, so seeking to build out capabilities on the ground in the kingdom. What type of investment should we expect to see in the future from this region, Ray? And when you look at the development that's happening here, what does the track actually look like? Can the Middle East become a global player in the global AI race?
Well, the Middle East is not going to have trouble actually attracting talent, but I think the important part is being able to educate the masses on AI, and that building of institutions that will support the training to allow for future AI jobs is going to be important. That's not just computer science, it's also ethics, it's also ethnography, anthropology. Those are areas that are going to be important to weave the culture of the region back into what they want their AI to be able to deliver on. And I think that's really going to set the difference. That first step, getting the Arabic language model from Sadia, was very, very important. And that is the foundation which allows everyone else to build on. There'll be other pillars that are going to deliver that capability, making sure data center access is available to startups, making sure the investment climate is there. And of course, if you look at the Middle East Venture Capital Association, there's a lot of activity going on with the startups, especially if you're at LEAP in Hall 1, you saw a lot of these startups start to take place.